Welcome into the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. My name is Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. Took yesterday off. Had to take care of some family stuff, but I am back, and I've got a ton of things we're going to get into, including I've got NFL schedule stuff, and it's like kind of wanted to get my opinion out there on that. But today's show is going to be about quarterbacks. Yes, I've got quarterback news for several different NFL teams, a possible quarterback transfer to one spot that may set the college football world on fire. If it happens this way, yeah, we'll get into that this afternoon. What else do I got? Oh, more on the Aaron Rodgers saga, more on all kind of stuff that we can get into today here on the Rundown. Right here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. The way to join the show is very simple, 803-978-1832. You can also reach out via Twitter at RobSoundsGood. By the way, I was watching the South Carolina baseball game the other night, and I had a question about Clemson's, outfielder, Bryce Teodosio, got hit in the face with a pitch, and he was able to re-enter. Well, I didn't know, and then I didn't know that you could re-enter on the concussion protocol thing. So I put it out there. How is he re-entering the game? Man, Twitter's great. Everybody and their brother's trying to help me. And then I get help from Teddy Hefner and several folks, which was kind of cool. So Twitter is a great place to go, I guess, if you have questions. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Jimbo Fisher said something that is kind of interesting today. We'll talk about that too. It was kind of funny what he said, so we'll get into that later on. Brock's welcoming back online. Yeah, I had one day off. It's weird, though, because yesterday at 3 o'clock, right, I'm sitting around the house because I had to take had stuff to do with my son earlier that day, and it was easier for me to take the day off. And I tell you what, man, I'm sitting, it's like 3 o'clock, and I'm getting the itch. It's like I should be in front of that microphone in the Fox Sports Radio 1400 studios, giving out some good stuff on the Rundown. So it was very strange yesterday not doing a show. All right, we'll start with TJ Finley. TJ Finley, the former LSU quarterback, he entered the NCAA transfer portal. This was a guy that last season he put up some good numbers, but he also looked like he could use some more coaching. I think that's the most polite way to say it. But he's in the transfer portal, and he's eyeing some SEC schools. Now, I talked about if he could play for South Carolina, that would be, a good place to start. And I'm not knocking Luke Doty or the guys that are there, but I just think that, man, that would be almost like what a win that would be for Shane Beamer if he could get this young man to come in at quarterback. Now, they may think they're set at South Carolina. I don't know. But I thought that Auburn was set at quarterback. Bo Nix comes in as a junior, and it looks to be their starter for Coach Harsin. But apparently, according to several different sites, Brian Harsin and his staff have been in talks with Finley every day over the past week. So wrap your head around that a second. I haven't been on the Bo Nix train, but obviously they're thinking down in Auburn that maybe he could be in the mix as far as Finley coming there. And if they're talking to him every day, maybe they don't want Nix as their starting quarterback. Now, I wonder if they bring Finley in, that will Nix decide, you know what? Screw it, I'm out. Finley says there is an opportunity there. It's been made clear to him that a lot of people in the organization there, since the new staff got there, believe I can come in and compete for the starting job. It ain't like me going there to be a backup. So apparently someone has told TJ Finley, come on down, brother. according to that statement from him. Now, some other schools that could potentially be in the mix, according to several reports, include Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi State, Ohio State, and Penn State. So, where will TJ Finley end up? Man, if he goes to Auburn, I wonder if Bo Nix will transfer out. He just seems like the kind of guy that it's almost like I don't know, the vibe that I get from him is almost like a spoiled mentality of, I'm the starter, and that's it. That's just kind of the way he plays. Now, I could be completely wrong, but that's going to be interesting where he could end up. If he goes to an SEC school, especially after the spring, you would think everybody's kind of set on who their quarterback's going to be, with the exception of maybe Kentucky and Vanderbilt. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's that kind of thing there. But we shall see how that will work out. Brock with a great point online. Finley threw as many picks as he did TDs. A perfect fit for Auburn. Good point, sir. Alan says he thought I quit yesterday and that I sounded great yesterday. Thank you, Alan. Appreciate you supporting the show, sir. All right, I told you I promised more quarterback stuff. If you want to call up on that, where do you think the fit is for TJ Finley? We can get into that. He threw for 941 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. That's 2 and 3. So through 5 games, averaged about what? Almost 200 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 5 picks. That's average to me, but you never know. Where do you think he's going to end up? 803-978-1832. Now, one of the other things we'll get into today, my buddy Carolina Jackpot with a good point. I don't understand why it's such a big deal. He's not very good. I don't know if he's talking about TJ Finley or if he's talking about Bo Nix, one or the other. Now, one other note here. We've talked a lot on this show about Deshaun Watson. Now, here's the thing. I put something up on my blog page a couple days ago saying that there's basically 2 teams in the mix for Deshaun Watson. Rich Eisen made a great point. Have you heard anything about Deshaun Watson lately as far as the legal side of it? Think about that for a second. You heard anything from any of the accuser's attorney, even Watson's attorney? They were firing bombs back and forth at each other over and over and over again the past couple of weeks. But it seems like everything is stopped. Now, what does that mean? I'll tell you what that means. It means Deshaun Watson is going to settle. Now, I mentioned that on the show a couple of weeks ago. I stand firmly behind that. Deshaun Watson will settle with these 21 people that have had some allegations of sexual assault against him. Now, there's all kind of stuff out there. His legal team says their client did not engage in any sort of sexual misconduct with massage therapists, and the plaintiffs bragged and praised private sessions with the former first-round pick. Look, I'm just going to be completely honest with you on this. Deshaun Watson is fighting a battle he can't win here because it's his word against theirs. If he's going to go to court, it's going to come down to who's going to believe who. And the best case scenario for Deshaun Watson is to do what Ben Roethlisberger did a long time ago. He was accused of rape in 2009 and then misconduct in a separate incident in 2010. There was accusations that he actually raped someone in a bar bathroom. Ben Roethlisberger paid his way out of it. Deshaun Watson is going to pay his way out of it. Now, with that, the NFL suspended Roethlisberger, and I wonder how long, according to Pro Football Talk's Mike Florio, Watson could face discipline from the league even if he's exonerated. suggests the NFL already has enough ammunition to suspend Watson under the league's personal conduct policy. So, in theory, I think Watson's going to be made to sit 6 games. I could be within 1 or 2 either way. They may go for 8. He'll appeal and get it back down to 6. But I think 6 games is what Deshaun Watson will end up missing. And one of 2 spots I think are in the mix. The Philadelphia Eagles, who I am not sure are completely sold on Jalen Hurts. Just don't believe it. Just don't believe it. And, we could talk about the Carolina Panthers, but I think it's the Eagles' road to go there. Now, the question is that do you think that the 6 games is enough? My buddy from down the hall, Kelly Nash from WCOS, he laughed me out of his office with that. He said with today's cancel culture, it's going to be a lot more than that. Even though he hasn't theoretically been criminally convicted of a crime, he has done stuff on the civil side where the term is tarnish the shield of the NFL. Is that worth Deshaun Watson getting suspended for 6 games or more? Or you think it's going to be less than that? Because yesterday they released the schedule and everybody's like, oh, wow, it's going to be Houston with Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence in the first game of the season. I bet a box of cookies that's not happening. Being the chunky guy in the room, I think people know how much I love my cookies. But the idea of Deshaun Watson squaring off with Trevor Lawrence in game 1 of the season, it's probably not going to happen. Probably not going to happen. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to call if you want to join us here on the rundown. Do you think that's what's going to happen with Watson? He settles and gets suspended. And if he's suspended, are you going to pony up for him on the trade market? If he's suspended 8 games, your season's over, in my opinion. You're not going to bring Deshaun Watson in and, hey, you're going to play the last 8 games. I mean, he's got to figure something out. Brock says the court typically favors the plaintiff. A settlement's the best way to go. Yep. Jackpot says Bo Nix is a future first rounder. Jackpot is hitting the booze early today. Slow down with that, sir. G Bamba Boy says Finley has the biggest arm in college football, but unfortunately he's not accurate. That's a fair statement with him on that. So we have all of that with Finley. Is he going to go to Auburn? What a mess. Trevor says the Texans season is over anyway. They're terrible. Good point. One other note on quarterbacks before we talk about some other stuff here. Aaron Rodgers wants one guarantee from the Packers. According to the NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, his main priority with Green Bay is security. He wants a guarantee in the contract that he'll be the team's starting quarterback moving forward. Are you serious? I understand that Aaron Rodgers right now is one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. But to have this complex of, hey, I want you to guarantee me that I'm going to be the starter. Let me ask you something, sir. Are you scared that Jordan Love is making you look stupid in practice, and you're worried that maybe the young fella might be a little bit better than you are? Is that what you're scared of? Look, you've won the MVP. You've won a Super Bowl. You are you're going to be a Hall of Famer. I don't think anybody's going to argue with that. But the way that you're acting right now, it's going to tarnish the way that people think about you in the long term. I want it in my contract that I get to be the starter. Well, you know what? I want it in my contract that I get to be 6'5", but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Rappaport says, to me, it's not about the overall yearly averages. It's about, from what I understand, security and him knowing that he's the Packers starter going forward, guaranteed contractually. Do you not want to compete for your job? Do you know how hard it is for me being a Packers fan and having to sit back and watch our all-pro quarterback act like a baby? Because that's all there is to it. You have to tell me that I'm going to be the starter. You know what? I'm almost to the point now where I'm done with Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to support the Green Bay Packers regardless, and whoever they run out there at quarterback will have my support as a fan. But as far as Aaron Rodgers goes, you, sir, that just shows you don't want to be a competitor. You don't want to compete and earn that job. And maybe Jordan Love's better than you are. I hope we get the opportunity to do that. And I hope that the Green Bay Packers find somebody and trade you away, and we get Jordan Love in there and see what he can do. Because you know what? You're 37 years old. Guaranteeing the starting quarterback job to anybody that's 37 years old is stupid. Remember, your body starts to break down, things like that. I understand that you're in great shape, but the reality is Father Tom is undefeated. Now, please don't call me with Drew Brees did it. Drew Brees is retired. Tom Brady does it. Tom Brady is a freak of nature. Let's be honest with that. The Bucs won the Super Bowl last year because Tom Brady was an average quarterback and kept them from throwing 30 interceptions like they did the year before. But they had a great defense, and that's what won them the Super Bowl. Not saying that Tom Brady wasn't important, but it wasn't like Tom Brady from, 10 years ago. It just wasn't. But that's the worst statement ever. I want to make sure contractually I'm the quarterback. How do you enforce that, by the way? Rodgers goes out, let's say that the world turns and he hits, he starts putting up numbers that are hideous. Yeah, we're not going to bench you because in the contract it says that you're going to be the starter. Come on, man. It's ridiculous. All right, we'll take calls on that at 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832 is the number to call. Edwin agrees with me. That's so weak, and he's right. Be the Hall of Famer that you're going to be. Look at Jordan Love and say, you know what? I'm the starting quarterback here, and you're not going to take that from me. Lean on that. Don't lean on, I have a contract. More of the rundown when we come back. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. I agree with you, Bama boy, but something is bothering this guy, and I don't know what it is.
Live music is coming back. Let's get it started on September 17th and 18th.
This is my first soda in 53 days because I forgot my Spark. I forgot my other stuff, and it's like, and I'm feeling kind of sluggish, so I'm going to have a soda. It's just terrible. I feel awful drinking. It's been 53 days since I've had a soda. That's a mess. I remember that game, Trevor. You're right. He did do well with that. I know. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's 53 days, man. Ugh. I feel like I'm losing a battle here.
Midlands is heating up, and whether it's for HVAC maintenance or mishaps, plumbing, heating, and air. Their professional experience.
I think Rodgers is being a baby. I really do.
Repair or install your heating or AC system to keep your home or office comfortable. Trained technicians, not trained salespeople. Learn more at OnCallSC.com. On-Call Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
My daughter sent me something. She's doing a project on dams. She doesn't understand how dams are built. I'm sending her a YouTube video. Watch that. What a mess.
That's right. An extra $250 on top of all the other cash you'll make during those first 10 deliveries. That sounds good? Visit t.uber.com/extra250. Uber Eats. Deliver with us. Limited time offer. Terms apply. See t.uber.com/extra250 for more details.
My name's Kyle Elliott, a Nashville recording artist from Mount Juliet, Tennessee. I'm back on air with Boot Bar.
So we can do what we do. Got a bottle of wine and candlelight, girl. I'm setting the mood.
I think Bo Nix will transfer, by the way. If they bring Finley into the mix, Bo Nix will transfer. He'll be gone quickly.
Learn more about the movement at bootbar.com/back.
Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeart Radio app. My name is Rob Sanders. If you want to call in and talk about any of the quarterback stuff that I've brought to the table here, Aaron Rodgers being a giant baby. In addition to where will TJ Finley go and will Deshaun Watson play this season? I think he's going to settle. We talked about that. How many games should he be suspended? Will the cancel culture society that we have, because that's out there, will it be more harsh with Deshaun Watson over what happened with Ben Roethlisberger in 2009 and 2010? We shall see on that. I think the legacy of Deshaun Watson is tarnished forever, regardless of what happens. People are still going to associate him with, okay, this happened. Allegedly. So they're going to have the image of that lady crying and losing her mind. And in that press conference, that's what they're going to see. They're not going to see any of this other stuff. They're just going to see, this happened here. And people are going to have that perception that that's who he is. So we'll take calls on that. Now, I wanted to address something too. And it's about the Tim Tebow signing with Jacksonville. And people are upset because there is the whole thing about why is it that Tim Tebow gets another shot with Jacksonville, and people are still upset about Colin Kaepernick not getting a chance to play. And people are also putting out there pictures of Kaepernick kneeling and Tim Tebow kneeling and saying, wait a minute, these two guys both kneel. Why is it that Tim Tebow gets better perception than Colin Kaepernick does? I don't think that, I feel bad that I have to put this out there. They're both kneeling for completely different reasons. It's not like if you watch Tim Tebow, he generally kneels in the end zone, and it's more of a prayer. Whereas Colin Kaepernick is kneeling to make a political statement. So it's completely two different things. It's frustrating when people put together stuff like that because you see that stuff on social media and it just makes people dumber by the second because people put those two together. First of all, Tim Tebow coming back, he's going to play tight end. The Jacksonville Jaguars don't need a quarterback. They use their first round pick, the number 1 pick overall, to get what many people have considered a generational type quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. He hasn't thrown a pass in the NFL yet. I don't know how great he's going to be. But the reality is that that's what they've spent their money on. And unless he's injured, that's going to be their quarterback. I think this is more of a favor by Urban Meyer. Give Tim Tebow the opportunity to come in and do his thing. But do it on the end of, we're going to make you a tight end. There's certain people that are upset about Tebow getting that contract. And, well, why didn't they offer Kaepernick a contract? Well, my buddy Edwin said something good to me last night. Here's a thought. Why don't we shut everyone up and give him a contract offer, same as Tim Tebow, but you're going to play tight end. Oh, my goodness. There you go with that. Interesting. Interesting point there. You think that would shut some people up? Maybe. Another comment from Edwin, who's watching today online. You can do so on the Fox Sports Radio 1400 website. Why are they not complaining about JT Barrett? He's getting a contract tryout with Dallas. Now, let's make sure we put this all into perspective, too. I don't think Tim Tebow is going to make the final roster for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's 33 years old. He's been playing baseball. He dropped, I think it was 30 pounds from his playing weight in college to play baseball. But he's going to try to come in and play tight end at 33. Generally, that's when people start thinking about, okay, I'm going to cut my career down. He's going to try to get his career restarted. Now, by the way, Tim Tebow should have listened to everyone else and been an H-back, a tight end in college when he came out of college, because he would be wrapping up his NFL career right now with quite possibly one of the better careers as a tight end. Can you imagine Tim Tebow and the way that he could run with the ball and the things that he could do and his smarts for the game? He knew that he understood the playbook portion of it. He just couldn't make the throws. Couldn't make the throws at all. But can you imagine him as a tight end when he first came out of college? That's the way he should have gone. But once again, it's a 1-year, $5 million contract. That's if he makes the team. They're basically going to pay for him to come to training camp and, give him a prorated salary. I don't think he's going to make the team at all. He'll get some nice Jacksonville Jaguars gear. He'll get to talk to Trevor Lawrence, maybe get him to sign a couple of footballs for his coalition of where he's out trying to spread the good book of the Lord. He may have that. That's pretty much the only thing he's guaranteed right now. They may not want him anywhere near Trevor Lawrence. He may not be with the first string guys yet. I don't know. But keep comparing him to Colin Kaepernick is kind of silly. And I've said this from the beginning. If Colin Kaepernick was a guy that could make plays, somebody would have him on the roster. Someone would have him on the roster. Simple as that. Regardless of what political statement he's trying to make. Perfect example of this. Remember Ben Roethlisberger? Allegations of raping people in bathrooms. Still made teams. If you have talent in the NFL, and you have to be a world-changing type talent, by the way. Let's make sure we put that out there. Only the best play in the NFL. There's only so many spots that are there. With that, if he has that kind of talent, someone will put him out there, I'm sure. Jerome says, Cap made his bed to lay in it, but at least he was peaceful. I give him that. He didn't riot that he knows of. Yeah. Look, and I'm not trying to get into the statement that Kaepernick made. You're going to have your opinion on that regardless. I'm just saying before he made that statement, he was not a very good quarterback. I remember him in the NFC Championship game destroying my Green Bay Packers. Over 500 yards of offense, 400 something through the air, like 150 on the ground. Could not stop him. That Colin Kaepernick could still play in the NFL. Not the Colin Kaepernick that his last couple of seasons, he was really bad. And it's not that far-fetched. But people need to stop trying to compare Tim Tebow to Colin Kaepernick, which, by the way, Tim Tebow's probably not going to make the team. Jimmy wants to know, who would I rather have in my locker room, Tim Tebow or Colin Kaepernick? I don't want either one of them. I want guys that can play at a high level, and I don't think either one of those guys can play at a high level. There you go. Tebow, did he really get a chance, though? Yeah, he did. He did. He got a chance to play quarterback. 3 different spots, if I remember correctly. More of the rundown when we come back. You're listening to Fox Sports Radio 1400. Yeah, Tebow got drafted in the first round as a quarterback and had an opportunity. There was a problem with Tebow's release. It was too long. I get frustrated when I see stuff like that because It's not about racial stuff with Kaepernick. It's just he wasn't very good. He just wasn't very good. The year after he went to the Super Bowl, he dropped 30 pounds. I mean, I'd love to get on that diet. He dropped 30 pounds and just wasn't very good. Yet people still are like, oh, it's a racial thing with him. No, it's not. He just can't play. Irritating, to say the least, man. I'm texting my wife what you said there, Brock. Mind your damn business. That's funny. Hey, you guys are awesome over there for checking out the show, man. I'm telling you, during football season, the show's going to get a lot more interesting, to say the least. I'm thinking about doing some simulations. Yeah, it's going to be cool. Sorry about that. My allergies are acting up. But I'm thinking about doing some simulations and stuff, so that's going to be kind of fun. I could do like split screen and have this simulation going. That'd be kind of neat. We'll get into that.
This is Chris Collinsworth. Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network, presented by DraftKings. Former Panthers.
Sorry about that, Fireball.
Download the DraftKings app and use code SPORTS to get a free shot at millions of dollars up for grabs this week.
I meant simulation. I meant simulation of that week's games. Like I may have full roster simulations for all of that.
Serving Columbia at 1400 and the world on the iHeartRadio app.
Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400, around the world on the iHeartRadio app. By the way, something that just came across my news feed here just a minute ago about Jordan Love. We were talking about how Aaron Rodgers wants a contract to say that he's the starter because that's important. One anonymous NFL executive in an interview with Tyler Dunn made a prediction that he thinks that Love may be a better quarterback than LA Chargers standout Justin Herbert. The same executive rated him higher coming out of Utah State than either Herbert or Tua Tagovailoa. And there were flashes of a young Aaron Rodgers and even comparisons to Patrick Mahomes. If you're a Packers fan, it's about time to say, you know what? Aaron Rodgers, go be a baby somewhere else. Go do your tour like Tom Brady's doing with another team that's got some great defense, etc. Have at it. If I'm the Packers, get something for him. I didn't put that out there. That's what this, with the interview with Tyler Dunn. I'm going to retweet some of this in a moment. But here's some of the other comments. I like him better than Tua and Herbert. You'll see flashes of a young Aaron Rodgers. He can throw the ball better than most people on the planet. The things Patrick Mahomes is doing, he can do as well. And this guy's sitting on the bench in Green Bay. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Aaron Rodgers. I respect what he's done as being a quarterback. I get that. But in the end, when you have at least one NFL executive that says, I like this guy better than Herbert and Tua, and he can do what Patrick Mahomes does, all right, have a seat, my friend. You want to be the quarterback? See if another team will give you that same thing where you're going to come in and you know that you're going to be the quarterback contractually. Let's see how that works out for you. Aaron Rodgers is being a baby, and it's going to be about time for him to go. Got to figure that out. By the way, a couple of other notes here. There is a pitching change coming for South Carolina. They start their series with Kentucky this weekend, and I think they're on the outside looking in as far as getting an actual regional host spot, but they're going to move around the rotation a little bit. Thomas Farr will be on the rubber Sunday. Brett Carey, your closer, will make his first start of the season on Saturday on the road against Kentucky. Now, I wonder how that lightens up the bullpen back there, but interesting thing there for the Gamecocks. Clemson, by the way, plays Florida State. They got to win some games there. Just not the best season by either team, to be completely honest. But I thought that was interesting with Brett Carey getting the start on Saturday for the Gamecocks. So we'll see how that works out for them. A couple of notes from some guys online. Rodgers becomes soft. Thank you, Fireball. Brock says, I think Rodgers went soft when he signed the deal with State Farm. No, sir. He went soft when he was dating Danica Patrick. That's just real. Go back and look at it. If he goes to a team like the Texans, he might have a guaranteed shot at being the starter. If he goes to the Texans, they're going to go from a 4-12 or 4-13 team to a 6-13 or 6-12 team or whatever. G Bama Boy says, as a Cowboys fan, I can't wait for Green Bay to trade Rodgers and suck for years to come. The Packers probably aren't going to suck. I don't see them sucking if they trade him. I really don't. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to dial if you want to join us here on the Rundown, right here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. I've got a couple of other notes here. The NFL released their regular season schedule. How much do you think it would cost to go to watch Tom Brady's return to Tampa Bay, from Tampa Bay to New England? According to Ticketmaster, to go watch that game in Foxborough in week 4, $1,350 each. $1,150 on StubHub, $1,135 on SeatGeek, and $1,170 on Ticket City. This is a regular season game, by the way. Yeah. Kind of crazy on that. I mean, would you pay that much money? Now, they love Tom Brady up there. You watch some of the games, man. I'm sure you'll see. I know that A.J. Black from inside Boston College, who works with SI, he told me, he's like, if you come to a Boston College game, you'll see more Patriots stuff on people than Boston College stuff. I mean, they're a pro town up there, but you'll also see tons of Tom Brady jerseys. That's just the way they roll up there. And Brock says, or just watch it on TV. By the way, some of the other places, other games that are highly thought of, Ravens at Raiders, $938. Chiefs at Raiders. All these games are in Las Vegas. I mean, I guess I'd like to go see a game at Las Vegas. Have you seen where they have you get like a private booth with a DJ out there? That's kind of crazy. I wonder how long before they end up with strippers in that booth. That's going to happen. Chiefs at Raiders for $852. Bears at Raiders for $665. Eagles at Raiders for $607. I couldn't pay that much for a regular season ticket to go watch any NFL game. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. It's not going to happen. What would be your price for a regular season NFL game? If you could afford it, how far would you go? I'm not paying $1,400 to watch Tom Brady play in New England. That's not happening. If it's a national championship game, I'd probably spend some money on that, but not $1,400. Wow. I mean, you can get Super Bowl tickets for almost that. Amazing. Fireball says $300 tops. Yeah, I don't care who's playing. I can watch it at home anyway. I'm getting to a point where that's kind of where I like to watch games, is in my house. That's just real. All right. We'll take calls on that as well at 803-978-1832. How much would you spend on an NFL regular season ticket or just a game in general? I'd drop $500 to watch the Braves in the World Series. I'd admit that. I'm such a Braves homer. More of the rundown. We come back. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. Brock, you're killing me. Absolutely killing me with that. He needs to just shut up and pay. I'm with you guys on that, man. Make it go. Man, I kind of want to go to one of those games in Las Vegas. I don't know if I want to pay that much, though. Jerome says he'd pay $1,000 to go back to 2020 and go to the A&M at SC. I don't know if I'd do that, man. That's a lot of money. Let's hear what Jimbo Fisher said. Hilarious. I think I've got it here. Yeah, there we go. Jimbo Fisher is saying things that are not quite with it. And that's fair, but I mean, I can't pay that much for $1,300. I think the Braves thing would top off for me. $500 to go to a Braves World Series game. And that'd be like a clinching game, too. Final segment of the rundown this afternoon here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. We're taking calls on how much you would spend to go to a sporting event. I mentioned going to an NFL game. Cheapest prices to see the Bucks and Patriots, $1,370. $1,350. If you went to Ticketmaster right now, that's how much it would cost. Not sure if I'm buying all that. I did say, and I told the folks in the chat room, which you could watch at foxsportsradio1400.com, I would pay $500 to see the Braves in the World Series. But I want like a clinching game where there's an opportunity for me to see my team take home a World Series title. Some of the folks online, Jerome says I'd pay $1,000 to go back to 2020 and go to the A&M at SC. That would be a blast. Alan says UGA versus Clemson. That's priceless. Fireball says if Tennessee played in Natty, I would spend my life savings to watch it, but I don't have to worry about that anytime soon. Just keep sending those McDonald's bags, buddy. You'll be all right. Brock says, as a native of Georgia, I would pay a lot of money to see the Braves in the World Series. I think that's pretty much it. I'm not going to go and be jacked up to watch Tom Brady play. I'm not buying all that at all. Really not. Anyway, couple other things before we get out of here. Jimbo Fisher is running his mouth a little bit. And I say that because he made the comment about, quote, kicking Nick Saban's butt, to which Nick Saban responded in what, golf? Like, disciples of Nick Saban are 0 for 23 against Nick Saban. I mean, those are the numbers. Not even close to getting a game. Some of the stats behind that are interesting, but Jimbo Fisher was at one of those rubber chicken dinners. That's what I call them, when they go out and they meet the fans and they're all talking about, we're all looking forward to the upcoming season and, things are going to be good. Yeah, Jimbo Fisher said this. I think it's called the Dallas Touchdown Club. All right, check this statement out.
We had a great year. We finished fourth. That's just 3 spots too low. Yeah. That's just 3 spots too low to where we're going. And I know there's no problem. You got to have goals.
Yeah. Jimbo Fisher needs to understand, with the stuff that he said, he must be really confident with his team, or he just doesn't care. He plays in the toughest division in college football by far. Just to get out of that division, even if you can beat Alabama, you still got to beat LSU. You still got to deal with Auburn. I mean, it's a tough division. And he thinks that he can just say things like that. Look, until you actually do something where you're not made Nick Saban's bridesmaid once again, Jimbo Fisher should probably be quiet. I mean, he hasn't really had a great team. A great team, like national championship worthy, since Jameis Winston was throwing passes for him. That's just real. He should probably just slow down. Against Saban's record against Fisher, 3 times at A&M, 1 time at Florida State, all of which were by at least 3 scores in the last 3 seasons alone. Think about that. He's not only winning by, beating them, he's beating them by a lot. But Jimbo Fisher, still running his mouth a little bit. I guess if you're an A&M fan, you kind of like that. And I guess you can have the mentality of, you might as well keep saying it until it happens. Because then eventually, someone's going to break that streak eventually. I doubt Nick Saban gets through the rest of his career, especially with the way that he brings guys in. Or he's got like the coach rescue system down there where, he's had tons of guys come through there. Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian, all those guys. Still interesting that I don't think that that streak will end at one point. Edmund's got a good point there. He's talking at a booster event, not at an interview. It's what they expect. I just think that the two coming so close together, especially after saying, hey, he was going to kick his butt at the golf tournament. What a mess. Right now, it's Alabama's division. And until somebody unseats them, it's kind of like, okay. And the only one who's really done it here lately, Auburn got rid of the guy that went 3 for 8 against him. Okay? They got rid of him, sent him to Central Florida. So the only guy in the division that has a win over Nick Saban is Ed Orgeron. You go back and look at it. As far as getting a win over him as a head coach, the only guy in the West that's got a win is Ed Orgeron. Wrap your head around that for a minute. Tomorrow on the program, we're going to talk baseball. There are so many big series this weekend in the SEC and the he ended up getting the job done there. And you got to give him credit for that. He's the only coach in the West to have a win there. All right, so tomorrow on the program, we'll talk baseball. Looking forward to that. Lots of SEC series that are really great this weekend. Some good ACC series. Try to pepper those in there as well. We'll talk about all that tomorrow here on The Rundown, right here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. My buddy Lawton Swan is next. He is the czar of Clemson sports.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
Yes, everybody loves the Swan. Be sure to check out his show. As I got to listen to some of his show live yesterday. Normally I catch the podcast. Got to listen to it live yesterday. He actually does a good show live. I don't normally listen to the podcast, but hey, podcast I feel like sometimes I'm like, but he does a great show live. Check him out. Lawton Swan, Clemson Sports Talk, 4 to 6 right here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Blog page is up at foxsportsradio1400.com. Podcast will be up at 5 o'clock today. And if you want to watch the video, you can check it out on the Fox Sports Radio Facebook page. It's right there for you. All right. So as I said, tomorrow, plenty of baseball talk. We'll get you set up for the weekend. UFC fights this weekend too. We might have some picks on those as well. Like some UFC stuff, man. I think I've become more of a UFC fan during the pandemic. I really have. Anyway, I'm on Twitter at Rob Sounds Good. Feel free to interact with me there. People get mad. Oof. It's going to be crazy on Twitter. I'm at Rob Sounds Good. More of the rundown tomorrow right here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. All right. Appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. We'll see you later.